Toxic family ties, an Eastern perspective in dialogue with the West. In recent years, the phrase toxic family ties has gained prominence, especially in modern discourse. It reflects a growing awareness of mental health, boundaries, and individual well-being. While this awareness is valuable, it is equally important to approach the idea with balance and cultural sensitivity. Families, after all, are complex human systems shaped by history, values, and circumstance. No family is perfect, and imperfection alone does not make a relationship toxic. Welcome to Rise and Prosper with Lakhani, where we unlock the mindset, habits, and stories that build abundant wealth, radiant health, and unshakable joy. In this episode, we talk about, are family ties really toxic? And we look at the Eastern perspective. In my own life, an interesting parallel comes from my work as a financial markets trader. Trading at its core demands calmness, patience, and the ability to let go. You cannot be emotionally attached to every trade, every fluctuation, or every loss. You learn to step back, detach, and focus on the bigger picture rather than reacting to every small movement. Over time, I realized that the same principles apply remarkably well to family relationships. Not every disagreement needs a reaction, not every comment needs a response, and not every misunderstanding needs to be carried forward. When I began approaching family ties with the same patience, emotional discipline, and perspective that trading requires, it worked wonders. The relationships didn't become perfect, but they became more peaceful, resilient, and grounded. From an Eastern philosophical standpoint, particularly in cultures influenced by Indian thought, family is not merely a social arrangement, but a foundational unit of life. One's identity, duties, and sense of belonging are deeply intertwined with family. I am what I am today because of strong family bonds. Did we have problems? You bet we had. Were there difficult people? Certainly. But toxic is a strong word. Often, what is labeled as toxic is simply the friction that arises when imperfect individuals live closely together over time. Eastern philosophy emphasizes endurance, adjustment, and perspective. The idea is not to deny pain or injustice, but to understand that relationships, especially familial ones, require patience and a long view. There is an implicit understanding that people carry their own limitations, conditioning, and unresolved struggles. Letting go of minor grievances, practicing forgiveness, and focusing on the larger picture are seen as signs of maturity rather than weakness. The Bhagavad Gita offers profound guidance on this outlook. Lord Krishna advises Arjuna, from Bhagavad Gita 2.44, O son of Kunti, the contacts of the senses with their objects give rise to pleasure and pain, heat and cold. They come and go and are impermanent. Endure them patiently. This verse does not advocate silent suffering, but it reminds us that discomfort is a natural part of human interaction. Not every conflict demands rupture. Not every hurt requires permanent distancing. Detachment, in the Eastern sense, is not abandonment. It is the ability to remain connected without being consumed. In contrast, the Western approach often places greater emphasis on individual autonomy and emotional boundaries. This has brought valuable tools for recognizing abuse, protecting mental health, and breaking cycles of harm. However, when taken to extremes, it can sometimes encourage quick disengagement, viewing relationships as disposable if they become difficult. Minor misunderstandings can be magnified, and forgiveness may be replaced by avoidance. A simple example illustrates this contrast. In many Eastern households, an elderly parent may be emotionally rigid or overly critical, shaped by a lifetime of hardship. While their behavior may cause friction, the family often responds by adjusting expectations, setting soft boundaries, and continuing care, understanding the larger context of that person's life. In a more individualistic framework, the same behavior might be labeled irredeemably toxic, leading to complete emotional or physical withdrawal. Neither response is inherently right or wrong, but the Eastern response prioritizes continuity and collective resilience. Families thrive not because they are flawless, but because they adapt. There is always a give and take. There are moments to speak up and moments to let go. Modern life, with its pace and pressures, often leaves little room for patience. People become consumed by minor problems, replaying them endlessly, unable to detach. Yet when one faces true adversity, illness, loss, failure, It is often family, imperfect as it may be, that stands firm, offering support no one else can. Ultimately, the conversation around toxic family ties benefits most from nuance. Recognizing harm is important, but so is recognizing the strength of enduring bonds. Eastern philosophy reminds us that growth often comes not from cutting ties at the first sign of discomfort, but from learning how to remain rooted while evolving. In that balance, between self-respect and commitment, between boundaries and belonging, families continue to shape who we become. Finally, a quick note about Lakhani, a financial markets trader with over 40 years of experience and a former trading educator who has conducted live trading sessions across the world. I'm not here to sell courses or promote products. My goal now is simply to share the lessons, insights, and mental frameworks that have shaped my journey, completely free, for those who truly want to grow. A portion of my trading profits is regularly set aside to support good causes, because I believe that success has real value only when it helps others rise as well. If this episode resonated with you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder to stay focused on their own journey and join the movement to rise higher, live fuller, and prosper together.